Hi everyone, my name is Maya Fortune from Tribeca New Music, and I'm here today with Erika Dohi, the composer that we're featuring on our December 6th concert at the Domena Center for Classical Music. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from the beginning?
Yes. It goes all the way back to when I was three. I started classical piano. Yeah, at the age of three, my mom taught me piano for a year, and then I switched to her teacher because I guess I was progressing fast. So yeah, I mean, I did piano. I really liked piano for the kindergarten like yearbook. I wrote like I want to become a pianist. So all of that, I was, really like at the early age, I really wanted to become a pianist. And then I did like competitions and all that stuff in Japan. That's where I grew up. And then I moved to England for music school. I had a piano teacher in England. My mother kind of searched for like a teacher, and then so yeah, I mean, I moved abroad. I moved to England when I was 15. I was there for 4 years. Then I moved to New York for undergrad. Visited New York a few times before that, and then I've always fallen in love with the energy. And so yeah, I moved to New York in 2006. Yeah, 2006. And basically, I've been here ever since.
Yes, we love New York. Do you think that your musical style changed place to place?
Yes. So, I mean, like, I was only doing classical up to undergrad, really. I didn't really know, what else was out there. So, I mean, I was really just doing classical, like, strictly. And then moving to New York just really changed everything for me, including, like, meeting people at the school. I went to Manhattan School of Music, and then they were starting a contemporary performance program. When I was a junior or sophomore or something, like they just had launched that program. So then there were students like Andy Akiho, Vicky Chow, and like Lord Bang, people like all this like Mivos Quartet, like all these like new music ensembles like formed around that time, like from the year. And then I would go to their concerts, and then it really, really influenced me of like what they do and how they collaborate with composers. And at the same time, I was going to the original Stone, the venue underground, like, I mean, I don't know what you call it, like New York downtown scene, I guess. And I heard like free improvisers, and then Vijay Iyer, like Jason Moran, Taishon Sori, they were like upcoming around that time in like early 2000. So like, I mean, they were already getting big, but they were playing a lot in the scene. So like hearing them improvise or like hearing them present their work just really really changed to me as well. Just because what can what you know like what can one musician do? It's very like unlimited. So that's really, yeah, really influenced me. And then so I started doing like studying new music a little bit. Started improvising on my own because I didn't really know how to approach it. Um, I took some like jazz lessons, but that didn't really teach me how to improvise. It was just like learning the jazz theory. So I just kind of like improvised, and then I entered the contemporary performance program at Manhattan School of Music, and that really kind of solidified my like base for the new music. So yeah, I mean, those years I wasn't really like composing. I was just like improvising, and then like I would at that time like I would perform. I mean, I would start to like improvise with other people, and that's a that's always really like a learning experience
Yeah.
to learn, yeah, to play, and it's really like a yeah whole thing.
It's such a collaborative experience.
Right.
And it's so cool that your journey kind of into contemporary music kind of began in just having these friends who did a lot of random cool stuff around the city. That's what I love about New York, is that
For
there's
sure.
always something interesting going on.
Yeah.
What inspired you to create an album, Castorpollux, once you had gotten into this kind of compositional sphere?
Yeah, so in 2013, I went to Banff International Workshop for Jazz Musicians and Creative Musicians. I'm not sure the title; it's like so long, I like
Yeah.
never forget remember the title. But anyways, it was like a jazz workshop. But it was not just limited to jazz musicians. It was more for creative musicians, they called. And then at that time, Vijay Iyer was the artistic director. He's a jazz pianist and composer. And for those that don't know Vijay, I so yeah, I mean, so I got to study with him a little bit when I was at MSM. He we did independent study. I did independent study with him. That kind of themed on the theme for that was improvisation, and then I commissioned a friend, Jonathan Ragonis. I think his music was played on your series actually, or maybe he
Yeah.
played on it or something. Yeah, Jonathan Ragonis. I commissioned him to write me a piano concerto with cadenza, like a big improvisation at the end. Yeah, so that was like my project, independent project, and then with that I started with Vijay, and then that really kind of like I had like a structured improvisation studies basically, and then so leading to that, like then I went to Banff. I met all these amazing musicians that kind of come from very different background. Some classical, some jazz, and some just kind of like singer songwriters and like writing songs and stuff or whatnot. And then, yeah, I mean, they were just all like very creative, and then they had voices, they had their unique voice. And then that really kind of like made me think, oh, I'm like, I don't have to like be like, like pen and paper composer, like from that had to study compositions from early age, or what people would think composition is. Um, yeah, so the kind of really like influenced me to kind of start figuring out what my voice is. And that kind of took a little bit though, like because that was 2013 and then my album came out in 2021. So
in yellow blue and red, the color of TV fuzz. The black poems cut the sky. Hurricane weather is coming. The skies are not some color. Fickle flowers in my eyes. TV starlight. Fickle flowers in my life. The TV starlight. Fickle flowers in my
but I mean, during that time, I was studying. I started doctorate program at Stony Brook. So I don't know, just couldn't do everything all at once. But I mean, that's kind of planted seeds around that time, and then started composing very slowly. And then, yeah, I mean, and then when I graduated in 2018, I was like, all right, let's do this now. Like now, like I got no excuse. So let's just like put everything that I have, I just like, try to do what I can. So yeah, I mean, then like at that time, like I was like not really people, for those that know me, think I do like a lot of synths now, but at that time I wasn't really doing anything other than classic like acoustic piano and prepared piano. But meeting William Britell, who is a composer that produced my album, he really champions electroacoustic music. And I really, love his work. So I asked him to be a producer, and then that really kind of expanded my palette, and I mean the whole color, I guess, of my music, because he introduced me to all this synths, and then I was just kind of like, I mean, we did all these things like in the studio, like we went into the studio together, and then the studio had like many synthesizers, from like vintage synthesizers that I never really knew how to use, but I mean, I had some ideas. I mean, it was just kind of like toy store, like toy store for the adults. Like I was just having fun with playing with those synths, and that just kind of like we were just like having fun creating, and then that that became the album of the first album.
Yeah, a lot of experimentation. That is so cool. I mean, definitely from the reviews that I've seen, it talks about your music as eclectic, genre-defying, and diverse. How would you describe your music?
It's kind of really kind of hard to say like one thing about my
Yeah.
music, because it just has so much influence from all over the years of studying classical and then new music, and then there's like pop music influence too that I didn't really know was buried in there. I like in the process of making the first record, like there were the track Polaroid. Like while we were like working on that, I realized, so I'm like, okay, like I actually like making songs. That's kind
Mm.
of yeah, that's kind of like a realization. And then yeah, I've never had thought to like make a song, but it kind of happened. And then also while I was when we were at a studio, there was some like synthesizer like Yamaha DX7, and then like those like sounds, I just kind of like it just kind of brought me back to my childhood for some reason. I think it's because
Wow.
yeah, and then because I think I used to listen to like music of this Japanese singer, Hikaru Utada. She's a neo soul. She's more like R&B singer that's really was really popular in like early 2000, and then she like really influenced me. But I didn't really connect that together. Like meaning like um, I didn't think to make music like that, back then. Or I mean, I was just doing classical, and then but I was listening to it a lot. Like I was listening to her music a lot, and then kind of over the years I didn't listen to her like, but I think like working on this like album and just kind of what do I want to really create, and then kind of brought me back to um like my childhood idol. Like because I used to listen to her music, like Janet Jackson, and I'm really a big fan of Erika Badu and like all these like neo soul singers.
Hmm.
So I mean, then this is leading to my this coming like the album that's coming up, Myth of Tomorrow, because of this first album, and just kind of having to um, produce like the song, like a actual like a sing like a song. I wanted to do more of that. So then I ended up yeah, you haven't even heard the
No.
ones. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, it's now it's like I have like a few songs that's more like in that realm,
Hmm.
more like a neo soul. I mean, more like a like songs like singing and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yeah, it's just very interesting what 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 comes out, like I
Yeah.
thought, yeah.
And it's so exciting that our performance is going to feature unreleased work for Myth of Tomorrow. So after having such a long sort of experience and journey with your first album, how do you feel like you've reached those hurdles? Have you reached them faster now, creating Myth of Tomorrow? Was it easier to do it now that you have the experience? What kind of struggles did you have with the album that you didn't have with the first album, maybe as well?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So the because of the first album was like more, um, let's say, I it was like more like showcasing my strength, like slow piano-y, prepared piano, very like I don't know, dreamy. I don't know. But this one, I wanted to push myself to do something different. Um, like I didn't want to do another Castorpollux. I wanted to do, like what I said, like I wanted to do more songs. I wanted to have more different influences. And that meant like studying, um, like how hip hop music is made and how because like too, like I can't really like mimic a style really easily, so like I need to like really like understand how these music are made. So it really meant like studying like a lot of the different genres. And then the genres of the music that I like to listen to, like hip hop and then R&B, and those two really kind of go together as well. And a lot of producers from uh, early, like late 90s, like 2000, like Jay Dilla, and they those producers like produce like Erika Badu's music, and like just kind of studying that stuff was important. And then I don't know how much of that is in like reflected onto this record, but it's definitely like different than the first album because it has more beats, it has like drum machine. Like we incorporated so many different synths for this one as well, with the help of Forgotten Futures and Figure Eight. They had they have this residency that I was fortunately a part of, that I was able to access this like vintage synthesizers, like like a huge collection of synthesizers, and one of the instrument is called Fairlight, and then that is from the 80s, and it looks like a computer, like an old school computer, like a box computer with like a keyboard next to it. It's a beast, and it's a synthesizer that not many people know how to use. But it was used in Kate Bush's record. Like it's like you name anything like that was in 80s. That was such a big influence. This Fairlight synthesizer. So we were able to incorporate this instrument with a Fairlight expert, John Blackford. So you like incorporating that just kind of put another like life into the project, because it kind of sounds like it has its own sound, like it has its own like life, like a really literally like a living person, this instrument. So that really influenced the sound, is what I would say. So yeah, it's very very different than the first again.
I'm so excited to hear the differences. So it seems like your experience as a composer has been a lot of experimentation and research. What other advice would you give to young composers who want to find their voice in this very emerging world of contemporary music?
I would say that don't limit yourself with what you know. Like I think it's possibility is endless. It's there is so much you can do with anything, and there's so much access to a lot of things. And these days you can learn a lot on YouTube. You can learn about, that's what I was doing. Like I was like listening to like I was like studying like gospel jazz and like beat making and using this MPC. It's like an original like before the Ableton was a thing. Like if they hip hop producers use this machine to create beats. So I mean, like using like stuff like that really kind of like made me understand like how the process works. And then yeah, so I mean, what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that you can really learn anything. So yeah, so don't discourage yourself of what you know, but you can learn anything.
Thank you. Yeah, now I'm inspired to go on YouTube and research about random synths. It seems so cool. It seems like it's a whole world that I haven't discovered in my music experience, at least.
Mm.
I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
there's a whole world out there. It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So cool. One of the questions that we always ask at the end of the interview is, what are you listening to right now?
Oh, okay. I mean, these days I've been like listening to Afrobeat and reggaeton,
Yeah.
like things that I like to listen to, like dance to,
Mhm.
and yeah, like EDM. Yeah, I mean, I go through phases. Like I was only listening to hip hop for like a few years, and now I'm kind of shifted to more of like that, like dance music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm so excited to see your performance live on Friday, December 6th at 7 p.m. at the Domena Center for Classical Music. Thank you so much for talking with me. I'm very inspired, so thank you.
Thank you so much.